Hello and welcome back to Suzerain with Kingdom of Rizia and Ramus Taurus. And one thing just to start up this episode, we did okay, that doesn't show up. I just wanted to show you if I have the ability somewhere. I don't know where at this point. Basically, I did a couple extra. I built some extra troops for those who left after this beach and didn't watch me bumble around figuring out military stuff. One, I wrote a lot of notes, and two, I did some extra military build-up and a few other things in that time. So yeah, just to let you know what is up. Basically, I increased military stuff. Introduce religion to the House of Delegates. Decide whether the Grand Wiseman will come to future House Delegate sessions. Religion has been playing more of a part in Rizian daily life and government affairs. As such, you have the option to change the traditional protocol of the House of Delegates by inviting Grand Wiseman Sal Ignatius to take part in sessions. Interesting. That is a... Ooh, look at our money increase we're getting now. Oh, look at that. Whoa. That's so good. Gee. Morella trade. Yeah, the Morella trade is the big one. Look at that Morella trade giving us +3. Yeah, we're getting +3 from Morella trade. And we're no longer paying -1 to pay for building it. So now we're just pumping in money. Woo! Let's go. Very happy about that. Yeah, let's invite him. Why not? Average military manpower pool. The Rizian Armed Forces maintain a balanced but not desired level of manpower. Adequate. We've read that so many times at this point. Morgas pipeline. The Morgas pipeline, an integral component of Rizia Morella Energy Corporation, facilitates the flow of natural gas and petroleum products. Its construction has been a significant step in regional energy integration, bolstering Rizia's energy reserves and solidifying economic links with Morella. In Rizia, the military operation as conscription force, where the duty of military service falls upon males upon reaching the age of 18 and must be served for 12 months. Yeah, one of the things we did is we decreased the age from 24 to 18 for military service, and we also introduced something to make more stuff for something else, for getting the provinces to give us more stuff. The Destiners community experiences restricted access to state welfare services. While not entirely excluded, these limitations pose significant challenges affecting their quality of life and increase social tensions. That's too bad. Neutral Werses community. The Werses community maintains a neutral stance, practicing their faith with focus on curiosity and skepticism. There are minor issues regarding the expression of their beliefs. Overall, the community coexists peacefully without major conflict or significant contentment. I think they were discontent before, so I'm happy with that. King expands on tradition, invites Grand Wiseman to House of Delegates. King Ramus has announced that from now on, Grand Wiseman Ignatius will attend House of Delegates sessions, introducing a new element to the rich participation tradition of Rizian democracy. From now on, the voice of Rizia's biggest religious community will be heard directly by lawmakers, ensuring that Werses values are never forgotten in the legislative process. Invasion of Pales, Operation Golden Shield, Phase 1. Ugh. If I had the ability to, this is what I'd save and be like, let's look around for... Oh, God. Here we are. Our Navy sucks. Like, I cannot fight their Navy, like, at all. Which was a very useful thing for taking the coasts in my practice stuff, and I do not have that, so I'll keep that in mind. Let's see, yeah, support is the best for that, so we'll be putting that in the back. Whew, look how big this front line is. I mean, good thing I have so much infantry for that, but I'm gonna be putting a tank there and a tank. I need to defend against their tanks with my tanks. Though I also really want to take these supply lines, specifically this. Oh yeah, enemy airfield. I want to take that airfield very badly. I kind of want to just have there and there and prepare to move forward on that. Where are mountains? Okay, so the only mountain in my starting area for range is there, so I will put my one mountaineer there. Oh wow. Yeah, Azaro elites have the same attack as a tank. Jesus. And Suzerain levies are, oh wow, Suzerain levies have amazing support. Look at that support! Okay, you are gonna go behind my tanks. And you are gonna be the support for this initial push. We are going to be trying to do a big push down. To try to take these two spots, and then move down and try to take that city, is what I want to see there. And honestly, infantry-wise, literally just, defend in every location on the border. Is, infantry everywhere, to start. Just, well, actually, I might want to take some of those away. Like, I'm gonna put an Azaro elite instead. Because you can help out against that tank. Then I might put... Well, Azaro elites don't have higher defense, though. So I want to put them in an attack. But in fact, I might even, remove you and put an Azaro elite instead. So that... Because you're going to be doing a push. And then put a tank in a more defensive location because they have better defense than them. If I think I'm gonna... I am gonna be putting out these... I have so few, I don't know. I want to at least try to defend the line. But honestly, I'm not sure if I can. See, the submarines are better defending navally. The first one is helping military, the second one is helping navally. So... I need the submarine in the back to help navally, but they're also better defense. So I would want them in the front, but also it has lower health, so I guess I'd put that there. My other tank can go in a... one of these spots that... Okay, you already have high defense from that fort, so I'll leave you. Yeah, that fort is also very much, in a precarious spot. Oh boy, I have so many options of where to go. But I think I want to just put the tank, and this seems like a very precarious spot, and this seems like a precarious spot. So I want to be able to defend, I think there, I'm gonna just throw down a tank for the extra defense, and you can hold out against their tank. Though I don't have, like, the bombing is gonna be a major issue all around. Yeah, because, like, right here, this tank currently... because I don't think, like, I can retreat into the cities. He has no place to retreat to if he goes down, which is a very risky prospect. So I will actually not do that, and instead place you over there, and you can help that, you can help that. And you're in a position where you can help them if necessary as well. I might just put some reserve infantry up here in case they try to push forward. Because I still have a lot of infantry available. They don't have good reinforce, but they can at least try to help some with that, with their flag of 1. If they need to help defensively. Because the thing is, like, if I want to put one there to support all these guys, they can't retreat, which I don't like, that they don't have any spot to retreat to. Because they, you know, I can just be shot by, like, you know, Air Force. I don't have the planes to, like, stop them at all in any way. So I need to hold out in places. So I need so I will put a support here to help you. I will just put a support here so it can help either one of you if necessary, I think. Then those two can be the main supports for the southern flank. And I think just defensively throwing... The thing about putting guys here to help is then they won't have a tile to retreat to. I want to be able to retreat if necessary. I don't want to retreat, obviously. But if they have to push to a tile, I'd rather my troop live than die, you know? It's just a much better scenario for them to live. Because right now, they could retreat to there, they could retreat to there, they could retreat, 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 they could retreat. Like, anyone can retreat. Besides you, but we need everyone on the front line. That's just a sacrifice we'll have to make, because we have to have someone there. So, oh well. But, yeah, so I think just... guy here, because you still have a spot to retreat, yeah. And then, then honestly, yeah, I think I'm gonna leave the rest of my guys in reserve for now. I don't love it, but I think that's what I'm gonna do. No. Not that one. This guy. Gonna support. And this guy going to attack there. You are going to support. Then you'll support. And there we go. And boom! We take out both of those troops immediately. They are immediately taking us out navally. They push forward there because we abandoned that tile. A spectacular covert operation within the fortified enemy territories west of Zikis resulted in the crippling of crucial enemy divisions. Our intelligence operations not only sabotaged a key communications relay, but also instigated defections among several officers. Glorious Exa Rizia. That's awesome. Great to hear. We do have one airstrike available to us, potentially. We do need you to support there so they can win. You could support there. You can move into support. You can support. You're gonna have to die, ship. Sorry. But I'm successfully holding on all fronts besides navally. I kind of knew that navally I might just have to have my ships hold just to die and just let them be. Mountaineer overrun there so we can move forward and have more of a Mountaineer position. We win there. We're starting to win there. Now we need to support down there. But I also want to take that spot. That's a... Okay, yeah. You two are gonna swap instead. And then you're going to support there. Now you are going to just support there to help finish that take. And then you're going to overrun them. And then we're going to send in you to hold that position. Woo! Objective completed. We've taken that spot. They are defeated. Now we do need to deal with that. They are currently pushing closer and closer to our lands. Take that, and now let's attack, support. Just make sure that doesn't die. Support, just to hold it and make sure that tank doesn't die. For the moment, I just need to make sure my stuff isn't taken over. So that tank is gonna have to take a hit. But it is what it is. Overrun you. Attack you. Attack you. That will make this win because they don't have enough support. I can't get my tank out. Do I have to lose a tank here? I don't like that, but I feel like that's what's gonna happen here. Look, let's just take as much advantage as we can while we lose a tank. If it has to happen, we might as well get as much as we can out of it. Okay. It does have a spot to retreat to. Good. There we go. There we go. This is going well. This is going very well. I'd say this is going extremely well. I do need my tank to retreat, though. And then I need you to fortify and just heal up. You're on a supply line, so you'll heal, and you're fortifying, so you'll heal. So you should heal too, if I know things right. Let me overrun you. Overrun you. Overrun you. You will attack there. You will support there. And you shall attack there. Oh, don't. Can you not do that? Can I change my... Okay. Well, whatever. It happens. What? Oh well. You'll just have to swap spots. Attack there. Now you support them. Now you move and support them. There we go. That tank is defeated. Okay, whatever. Okay, we're gonna have to defend up there. But first, swap that down. You guys are gonna do that just fine. So yeah, I need to focus on supporting this. Just support it with the guys around. I'll say that went well. I'd say that went well. We are not able to break their naval grip, though. But we are pushing quite well, I'd say. Breaking the Pelesian naval grip determined the way to approach the blockade. Pelesian naval forces have established a blockade along the shores, severely disrupting our trade and threatening our economic well-being. We must identify a strategy to overcome this barrier. We are going to reroute trade through allied territories and lose an energy. We have plenty of energy. Pales blockades Rizian sea routes. By imposing a naval blockade on Rizia, Pales has forced the sea-dependent country to search for ways to overcome its dwindling trade volume. As the effects of the blockade are significantly starting to affect the Rizia's economy, while the kingdom has assured its people that alternatives will be found and that the hardship will only be temporary, the blockade appears to be a significant tactical victory for Pales, with Rizian naval assets unable to deal with the fleet of the Little Grand Duchy. I'm not able to deal with their fleet, but I'm dealing with their military. So, hey. House of Delegates visit. Portraitors on. Once more, I took my seat next to Hugo in the middle of the House of Delegates. Michael seemed to be in grim mood today. He watched with agitation as the representatives began filling the room. Are you sure it's a good idea to be here today, Your Majesty? You have every right to shutter the House of Delegates while the war is ongoing. Failing to appease my citizens now will lead to mutiny down the line. You know that. We appease them by winning, which we actually might have a chance at if we focus and apply ourselves. Of course, the delegates' advice is invaluable in times of peace, but I just think that... A gavel banged. Manasazan positioned behind the House Speaker podium, carefully put the wooden mallet aside. As Your Majesty, as the majority Speaker of the House of Delegates, I hereby call this session in order. He bowed in my direction. Thank you for coming in the middle of this turbulent time, Your Majesty. Daria forced a smile from behind the opposition podium. Yes, on behalf of both our parties, your presence is much appreciated. Manus looked down at his podium with a slight frown. As His Majesty's request, Grand Wiseman Ignatius will open today's session with a short prayer. All delegates' eyes followed Sal as he rose from the back row of the seats and slowly walked to the center of the room. Standing between Manus and Daria, he opened his arms wide. Dearest brothers and sisters, as we gather here today, we call upon the spirit of Saint Work and the guidance of the divine. May the great Nerd bestow upon us the charity of mind and purity of intent necessary to serve our people with honor and integrity. We pray for the day when swords can be sheathed and harmony restored, when our troops return to their homes and peace reigns once more in our lands. God bless this assembly and God bless our sovereign king. He lowered his arms. Thank you, Grand Wiseman. The delegates solemnly applauded. Sal shuffled back to his seat. Manus waited until the Grand Wiseman sat down before continuing. Yes, thank you, Grand Wiseman. That was enlightening. He flipped open a binder on his podium. The first item on our agenda concerns the War of Pale. I must state that my party harbors reservations about the current conflict, as do many Rizian citizens. Though our invasion could be seen as justified, many fear a repeat of 1920. While some Rizians do still hold out hopes for the annexation of Pales, the temperature in the country has changed, as has the international climate. It is difficult for my party to support an all-out attack on the Grand Duchy, especially when the future of Zeal is still in doubt. Well, I think things are going pretty well so far, you know? We've done our initial objectives, we took the spot, we've been defeating their military, none of ours have been defeated, only retreated, and we've overrun many of theirs, so I think it's going very well. Objection! His Majesty's decision to go to war was made in full accordance with the Royal Council, and is not made up for discussion today. I am not contesting the King's decision, merely reflecting the point of view of his subjects. Yes, that's completely fair. Please continue. Thank you, Your Majesty. As I was saying, now that we are engaged in this unfortunate conflict, measures must be taken to mitigate its impact on ordinary citizens. It is a simple fact that war is a source of suffering for many, and enormous financial windfalls for an elite few. He looked directly at Daria. In the name of equity, the RPP is proposing an excess profits tax on business and industries that stand to generate the most revenue from the Pales campaign. Several yellow-sashed representatives from Candace Montclair immediately stood up in objections. In this way, we can ensure continued funding for domestic programs, including care for veterans, in spite of the heavy costs of the war effort. Your concerns are valid, Mr. Suzerain, but the tax your party is proposing will only damage Rizia's wartime morale, not boost it. Keep in mind that these are the same industries that have been working tirelessly to supply our troops with weapons and equipment. They should be lauded, not penalized. If our business owners truly support Rizia, they will do their part to keep the rest of the kingdom afloat during these difficult times. Next to me, Hugo spoke through gritted teeth. Your Majesty, this tax would disproportionately affect House Azaro, as well as the D. Ravas themselves. I don't think it's a good idea. I do not dispute that we all must make sacrifices in times of war, but this particular one could severely hinder our chances of victory. Magus banged his gavel sharply. Miss de Rava, I know you are used to being in charge of these proceedings, but I beg you to remember that is no longer the case. The House of Delegates supports this proposal by a high margin. Therefore, it will be passed on to the King to enact as he sees fit. I mean, that's extra money, and I could use that money, to be honest. I kind of like the idea of getting some extra money here. I think we're gonna do it. This sounds like a bad idea, but, you know, hey, let's do it. Why go through all that trouble? I'll sign the War Profits Tax decree immediately. He frowned in concentration. I had hoped it would go through some sort of legislative process, but good news regardless. Magus turned a page to his binder. Next item is an update on our progress with Zeal. My constituents, especially those in Brennus, are eagerly awaiting the end of the Zeal Agreement's 3-year probationary period and in return of our land. However, some believe that cooperating with Welland on the persecution of their British minority has been a bridge too far. We are on the same page here, Mr. Suzerain. My party is particularly concerned with Rizia's participation in Welland's Operation Bear Trap. It is damaging our lucrative international partnerships. More to the point, it risks alienating Rizia's Galcanist population, just when we were beginning to better integrate them into our society. The same goes for our border ban, which has been criticized as unfairly targeting those of Galcanist faith. I will say that agreeing to fully integrate Wessex citizens while restricting rights for other migrant groups has led to some friction. Yes, my party has always been of the opinion that this term should have been left out of the amended treaty. I don't think that's the conclusion we should be drawing, Madam Speaker. It's a matter of consistency. Thankfully, the trade deal seems to be proceeding as planned. Rizia put up a hand. If and when the territory is finally returned, there are questions about how it will be reincorporated in Rizia. What questions, Mr. Rizia? Zeal has always been a part of the province of Brennus. That may be true, but in the interest of stability, reincorporating under Rizia Imperi's jurisdiction is the obvious choice. It is the same reason why the Pales Administrative District has not yet rejoined Cousins Monteclar. That decision was due to the ongoing border difficulties. Zeal faces no such dangers. How can you say that after the Friendship Day incident? There is no telling what Welland will do, even if Zeal is returned without a fight. At this stage, Welland will not want to risk damaging our agreement, and if they do, my province can handle it. The volume in the room grew louder as the delegates began arguing among themselves. I turned to Hugo. Look at them, squabbling away like a bunch of children. You really need to come to these sessions, Your Majesty. Eventually managed motioned for order. The delegates quieted down. Moving on to my more pressing topics. Next on the agenda is discussion regarding the current religious climate in Rizia. He looked uneasily at Sal. I must bring His Majesty's attention to the aftermath of the lifting of the Galcanist blasphemy law. Naturally, the dirty and British natives residing in Rizia have rejoiced the opportunity to worship alongside their fellow Wurricists. It has helped soften the backlash against our border ban, which many say unfairly targets Galcanists. However, the general public remains skeptical about what they see as a legislation of extremist sect. Especially ahead of Rizia's upcoming diplomatic visit to Dirdia, there are concerns about giving too much credence to Galcanist faith, the beliefs. Galcanists are Wurricists like any others. Their beliefs are as valid as yours or mine. I agree, Your Majesty. I personally support the uplifting of the ban as a step forward for freedom in this country. We must take care to ensure the practitioners of other religions do not feel neglected. Finally, it is imperative that we discuss the growing dissatisfaction within our populace. Suppressing the recent Nina strike has only made the faction more determined. The fact is, Rizian society is still rife with inequality. If we do not do more to address it, the demand for change will only grow. Objection! Our effort as a kingdom should be focused on winning the war in Pales, not on its costly policies that will satisfy no one. If anything, we should be doing more to protect the landowners and employers who keep the country afloat even in times of crisis. We can't focus on them while overlooking the plight of the commoners who actually generate their wealth. Agreed. My party's election gains are proof that Rizia wants the era of nobility privilege to come to an end. My party, which I will remind you is the majority, has already suggested a number of proposals that might help quell the unrest. It is our hope His Majesty will enact them. Very good. I'll have a look over them. That is all we ask. Manus closed the binder and looked up. That concludes today's sessions, unless, of course, His Majesty has any closing remarks. In fact, I do, House Speaker Suzerain, esteemed delegates. The delegates were all listening closely to me. I respect the criticism you've expressed today, and will take it to heart. It is my hope that the majority and the opposition can find common ground, otherwise we are all lost. Yeah. Mr. Zahn, see you for dinner at ours next week. Menace's face reddened. He nodded and left his podium. My uncle and I remained seated as the session adjourned. Any thoughts on today's session, Your Grace? The Suzerain boy is getting overconfident since his election win. I would be careful of how much you capitulate to his party. He kept his eyes on the delegates as they left the hall. Having said that, the concerns he raised about the public's discontent were valid. We should find a way to mollify them. He picked up his attaché case and paused to look at me. It's been a while since the two of us caught up. I hope you'll do me the honor of paying me a private visit once we're back from your trip to Rizia. As long as wine is involved, I'd love to. Hugo rose and bowed. Until then, Your Majesty. I stayed in my seat until the room was completely empty. Was Manus right? Was my public unhappy with my reign? And if he was, where would I go from here? We now have a war tax. The implementation of the war tax has introduced a formidable 50% levy on previous year's profits and continuous 15% tax on annual profits thereafter for corporations, small businesses, craftspeople, and traders throughout Rizia. Which that is, I don't know. And then we also have Suomino destabilizing incitements. Suomino now presents a severe threat with its aggressive nationalist agenda, challenging the crown and settling Rizia's social fabric. Their violent tactics disrupt communities, notably the Wezek, Durdian, and Marilyn, causing deep strains in Rizia's stability and internal reputation. Come on, I'm trying to unite us. I'm even going to war pails, and we liked that. We all agreed that was a good thing back in the day. War profits tax issued. His Majesty King Ramus Taurus has enacted a decree imposing a tax on profits derived from wartime activities. This measure, aimed at redistributing the economic benefits accrued during times of conflict, was presented as a step towards ensuring the wealth generated in these turbulent times serves the greater goods. Critics within the corporate sphere argued that such measures may deepen the entrepreneurial spirit and innovation, or dampen the entrepreneurial spirit and innovation that have been the backbone of economic resilience. There's a growing call for careful reassessment of the policy's long-term implications, suggesting that collaboration between the monarchy, business leaders, and financial experts is crucial to ensure that the nation's economic engines continue to thrive, without imposing undue burdens on those who have contributed to its prosperity. Patriots take to streets in Izza. Resisting a national climate that increasingly punishes patriotism, the civic volunteer organization Suomino took to the streets of Izza yesterday, in a peaceful protest that was tolerated by the local law enforcement. Hey, as long as they're peaceful, they're fine by me. Stop them the moment they're violent. Despite calls for a ban on the organization by locals, their numbers appeared stronger than ever as they marched through town chanting, "We will not be replaced." A concluding demonstration in front of Ricardo's Taurus Palace featured a guest speech by the Duke himself, who praised the group for its efforts. Rizia and Rizia, the Golden Kingdom meets the Silver Garrison. As the war between Rizia and Pales continues, sources report that King Ramus Taurus is planning a detour to Rizia for a meeting behind the walls of Jorga Asmal's Silver Garrison. The theocratic republic stayed out of last Pales imbroglio. Now, however, it seems that Rizian monarch is trying to coax his neighbor out of isolation. Whether or not a military alliance is in the cards is unlikely. That Durdia's advanced weapons development program has escaped King Ramus's notice. The country's history of sending mercenaries abroad, as in civil war, is also widely known. We are therefore keeping a close eye on the meeting, and its potential to affect the outcome of the current conflict. Good to know. Funding resistance in Zeal territory, strengthen resistance, There is an option to intensify funding for local resistance movements against the Wezek administration to the contested Zeal territory. The maneuver aims to escalate diplomatic leverage, exerting pressure for the reintegration of Zeal into Rizian sovereignty, while increased support for the resistance could significantly sway the Wezek government's stance. It also risks destabilizing Rizia, potentially justifying Welland's claim to retain Zeal for national security regions. I'm going to, I'll fund just the non-violent branch. ATA operations active in Zeal. The Arena Taurus Association is active in the territory of Zeal and is enhancing our soft power projection influence among the people. This improves the image of our culture among the locals. Good, good. Deepening involvement in the Civil War. First, what can I do now? Oh, I can remove the war tax if I wanted. No, I would not like to do that. I'm liking the budget per turn. Deepening involvement in the Civil War, responding to critical military. Honestly, I'm doing pretty good. Maybe I'll support. I'm really gonna support them while fighting a war. Deepening involvement in Vindasam's civil war. As Vindasam's civil war intensifies, the monarchist forces under Prince Consort Sam Tam launch a major offensive against key strategic cities held by the revolutionary factions. Battles in the industrial heartland of Ragkara, the port city of Pinguvi, and the fortified position of Tamarin have reached a critical stage. With the conflict's outcome hinging on these decisive confrontations, Vindasam's request for Rizian support comes at a time when intervention could significantly alter the war's trajectory. You know, I'm going crazy here. Let's send another infantry over to them. We might be fighting a war, but we can still support our allies. We can also decriminalize homosexuality. Homosexuality is decriminalized with the immediate effect, acknowledging the inherent dignity and equal rights of all citizens, respective of sexual orientations. This decree abolishes any legal sections pertaining to consensual same-sex relations, affirming the state's commitment to human rights and non-discrimination. It represents a significant move towards embracing a more inclusive and tolerant society. Sadly, we don't have the authority, and we're busy in a war, but I would if I could. Anti-intervention protests in Monkey's Harbor. A group of anti-war activists attempted to block the ships carrying military aid for Vendasam from leaving the port. Their attempt was unsuccessful, with law enforcement swiftly arresting the troublemakers. King stepping up military assistance to besieged monarchy. King Ramos has announced additional aid to our allies in Vindasam as their prince consort valiantly attempts to ward off revolutionaries against his rule. Not only is this a chance to demonstrate Rizia's military prowess to other corners of the world, it also provides vital experience for our own conflicts. I mean, we're kind of experiencing our own conflicts right now. Vindasam's civil war escalates, Rizia to send additional troops. Monarchist forces under Prince Consort Kanan Sang Tam have launched a major counteroffensive against revolutionary forces, aiming to recapture key cities in the country's heartland. Fierce battles are raging in cities like Ragkara, Pinguvi, and Tamarin, with the Watchtower of Human Rights voicing concern about mounting civilian casualties as a result of intensifying urban warfare. The game Rizia has already announced additional support for the Vindasam regime, dispatching an additional military division to the country to aid in the fighting. Other vital allies of the Prince Consort within Grace are reportedly also considering stepping up support. I can now just build even more infantry, because why not? I might as well in this scenario. And in the next episode, we'll have our meeting with the Grand Wiseman. But I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell button. And as always, peace.